MEQuest. Mentorship with care.
This is a screen where we always whenever you hear the word Power Platform, you would always see Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, because they all go hand in hand. They can work individually, but if you want to get most of it, it's good to have all of this. They all have different functions, right? And we already learned the last time about the business value, um, about the business value of Power Platform. There are a lot of organizations, a lot of people that do not even know the benefit of it, and where that's the more reason why most industries are very much in need of more citizen developers. They need more people who can just sit within the business and build solutions that can be used within the business, right? So this is because most people don't know. If you look at the turn up of our training, you can tell that most people don't even know the benefit, and they don't even know how much they can get if all you know is just the Power Platform itself and how to use it efficiently, build in-house app and all that. You definitely earn and have more income than individual developers like front-end developers, to be honest with you. Because you being a citizen developer or you building or working efficiently with Power Platform would make the company depend fully on you. And of course, when there is low demand, the prices are high for any commodity. So the same thing with the workforce. And another beautiful thing about the only time you can get more than a citizen developer is if you're a full stack. It means you're getting from being a front end, you're getting from being a back end, you're getting from being maybe software testing and all that. But if you can efficiently use, when I say build Power Platform, not just knowing how to build simple Power Apps, you can build complicated Power Apps and so many do build custom connectors and all that, then you would definitely earn more. And these are different integrations on how to use it. Most of this thing came in from our last class, so I wouldn't touch most of it, but this would definitely tell you how powerful the Power Platform is. So our next slide will be getting started with Power Apps. So amongst the Power Platform, we have, just like we have the Power Automate, we have Power BI, we have Power Virtual Agent, we have so many stuff, right? But today we'll be starting with Power Apps because I feel Power Apps is very important for us to start with Power Apps so we could then gradually go into using other components, because for you to have a good Power Apps that is very responsive, that works very well, you have to automate some processes, right? You have to maybe send some emails, do some let me say reporting and all that. So that's where you use Power BI. So I feel it will make too much sense if we start with Power BI, trying to know about data. Let's know about the Power Apps itself and then allow people to be able to see if they want to carry on with the Power Apps or they just want to focus on the other ones. So now getting started with Power Apps, we're going to see what Power App is and the business value we've already talked about. And we're going to learn today how to build a Canvas app. And also, eventually, we're going to learn how to build model-driven apps. So we'll know the difference. And I still feel that if you can comfortably build Canvas Canvas app, you create more value because your the design and everything. If you were part of the UI UX design bootcamp, then you would see the benefit of building Canvas app because you'll be able to control a lot of things. And amazingly, recently I discovered that Microsoft itself have been able to give, like, I think they are putting more effort in making Canvas app to be even more responsive to device, right? So we're going to look at screens and different things. So now Power Apps, of course, definition. What it can do for you. It's a low-code, no-code platform for building up, just in case, because most of the if you're on LinkedIn and you're searching for jobs, especially if you're searching for jobs that will be Power Platform developers, you're going to discover that they will always want you to be able to build apps, like apps itself. They're trying to employ you as a Power Platform developer, but the major focus will be what you can do with Power Apps, right? So if they ask you, for instance, what is this Power Apps? People have been saying about it, people are talking about it, but just say Power Apps is a no-code platform that helps you in building applications, right? It's owned by it's one of the applications, enterprise applications provided by Microsoft itself. And of course, you work with data. The only reason we build applications is because we want you to be able to work with data, right? If it could be temporary data that could just stay temporarily, or data that could be in the database, or informations and all that. And also, there are types of Power Apps. So when you hear about Power Apps, you just know that we have the Canvas app and the model-driven apps and the portals. So the Canvas app is like you are in charge of both the screen, the design, the connection, and so many things. You're in charge of how it looks and how it responds, right? But for modern driven app, they are assuming, you see, Microsoft know that there are a lot of people, because if you're going to be learning how to use the Power Platform, it doesn't mean you should be a developer. Accountants use this, right? Lawyers use this, and so many other divisions or job title that don't have anything to do with coding. So they know this and they prepared for it. So they made the model-driven app where you just build your database and you just you just make the app. You want an app that can be able to generate maybe invoice or collect user informations. So with that, if you go through the option of building model-driven apps, you don't really need to design how you want the screen to be, right? And also that works very good with the data verse itself. Now, portal is some of the applications we're using these days to put in some informations, interactive website. What we don't know is that not all these front end web-based application are being built again with React and Angular and all that, right? So Microsoft also made they made a provision where organizations can actually build applications that can interact with user, but it will be live like a website, right? So it's not about building. If you want to build just website that will just tell about your organization, of course you can use WordPress, you can use most low code or no code development applications like Elementor, WordPress, some plugins, Squarespace, and Wix and all that. But if you're going to be working with individual data, like people filling for job application on your site, and you're not ready to pay people to build the site from scratch, and you're also not ready to use third-party website builder and building like WordPress and all that, you can actually do this thing easily with portals and then get all the informations and get it to your organizations as well. So also through the Power Apps platform, we also have artificial intelligence. You can add it to your applications. You always see when I show you the studio, I'll show you where you can see more stuff. Like you can actually build AI models and all that. So it means you can use AI to build things. You make things faster. So before we move forward, this is one of the videos, to be honest with you, that motivated me into doing coming into the low code, no code development, and then how it interests, like I got so much interest. If we have our friends, well wishers, loved ones that we know would benefit from a programs like this. The reason why we have less people is because they really don't know the importance. Some of them have never heard of Power Platform. People have never heard that you can build a complete mobile applications. Like, I don't know if you can, I didn't plan to share my phone screen, but I have most of my applications just on my phone, like every mobile app, and I didn't do anything. I didn't actually go through Android or Apple Store to be able to get this. And also, one beauty about building with Power Platform is that it also gives the same notification your local applications in your phone would do. It sends reminders. It can do every single thing. It can capture, you can even integrate AI a part of it. Anyway, I won't say too much about the Power Platform. All right, then what and why use Canvas app? Remember, we're now in Canvas app, and from Canvas app, that's where we spend most of our time, and then we'll do model driven. So a Canvas app is a type of app in Power App that allows you to create custom business applications without writing any code in traditional programming language such as C Sharp. You can design the app by dragging and dropping elements into a canvas, like designing a slide in PowerPoint. That's to tell you how easy it is. Just like the way we did the slide, you can just build a app and your company will use it, and your staff would all the staff in the company can install it in their phones. You can also create a cell-like expression for specific logic and working with data. It means you can build apps that would act like a live grid system where you can be putting informations and all that. The apps are highly customizable, just like I told you, and can integrate business data from a wide variety of Microsoft and third-party sources. It means while you'll be able to build Power App, another beauty, I think I should stress on this, another beauty of Power Platform is that if you check statistic, you discover that almost everyone uses, especially in the enterprise environment, uses the Microsoft package, right? We have our Word, PowerPoint, and all of those things. Now, there's most organizations are moving their data to the cloud, and they have the SharePoint and all these things, right? That makes them to be able to work effectively in the cloud. However, if you know how to work with those systems before now, you can easily imagine on SharePoint, we have our very local way of inputting or adding new data. You can customize the form, and people tend to be using this SharePoint environment as though they are working with an app. So if you know how to use Power Platform, you can build any kind of app. You can build a power apps that can communicate with Salesforce. You can build a power apps that can communicate with your Excel. You can do, like, you can work with so many connectors. There are so many custom connectors and pre-built connectors as well. Then once you've built your app, you can share it with others in your organization so they can run it in the browser or on a mobile device. Now, the last time I managed to host an Android app, it took, I think, some weeks or months for it to go live, and I needed to pay this amount. For Apple, you would even pay annually, and they need to check a lot of things and approve if your app is is well enough for them to publish it on your behalf. But if you build with Power Platform or you build a Canvas app, it's very easy. The security part of your Canvas app by default is being managed by the same security level managed by your Microsoft application, right? The Microsoft user permission level of your IT department or whoever that is in charge of the security already is in charge of your Canvas app. However, you can still add additional. So this is something I thought of adding to our development, and I'm going to teach you. So even though people could have access to your app, you can also limit restrictions by introducing something like a lock screen on your app. You can set timers as well on your app. So all we're trying to do is that we're trying to make our Canvas app to be able to work like the way the traditional Android and Apple app are being developed. So we've been talking much, and just like we promised, this class will be practically based. We're making arrangement. I think I would allow Trinity to help us on explain when it's time. I want all of us to be able to have access to building apps because another beauty of this is that Microsoft gives for those that are learning, they give access for you to have like they give you access for you to be able to build apps and learn this stuff yourself. That's how most of us learned. We weren't employed as developers overnight. So by the time you start learning this today, we start building our apps. You think of an app, even if it's for your business or for your organization currently. If you're working in an organization, you already know that they have one or two ideas, or they have one or two problem that you know you can use Power App to solve the solution. Like if you're working in a place where they sell food and all that, you know they pay monthly for the application that they use in make taking orders. Meanwhile, they also have this package with Microsoft where they have access to SharePoint for their data, but they don't know that Power Apps is free. You can build a complete restaurant management system for any kind of business, and they'll be able to take orders through the app. The orders will be able to alert when the food is ready. The orders can also generate report on how much sales was made and so many things. You can even integrate your app to be able to take payment. So moving forward, I'm going to show you around the Power Apps Studio, and we'll also make arrangement to make everyone have access to it, because I really want to see us build solutions that can be listed in the Microsoft Store, or solutions that you can share with organizations. I'm sure if you can build a very good request or maybe document management system or leave, I'm going to show you some list of applications we can build. You can choose whatever you want us to build, and we'll build from scratch to finish in less than a week, maybe in one class. So I'm going to show you about the app format. I'm going to show you what gallery is. I'll show you what templates and how to get templates around. I'll show you forms. I'll show you input controls. I'll show you intelligent controls and also functions. If I show you these things and you can master and understand these things, trust me, you can learn any other thing. So it's good for us. I don't just want to start building apps and then show you this, but I want you to be familiar with these tools, because that's what we'll be using so far. So after this, we'll move on to the things you need to put in mind before building app. Just because you can build Power Apps does not mean you just jump into building anything in your organization. So first, for the Power App Studio, for you to access it, you go to www dot or whatever it is, https. Just if your URL, you can just put makepowerapps.com. So if you get there, by the time we give the access or whatever it is, maybe we'll share accounts with you on how to build this, because I would like to see apps that we'll build together. So for you to access it, this is it. Now, this is actually the studio, right? This is where you can see how to start a new app. You can see that the instruction is there. You can start an app with the data. You can start with a page design. You can start with an app template. So amongst what I said, I'll show you Google will be template. I can quickly show you those ones. So if you click on the template part, you see that we have different kind of application. It means Microsoft itself, they knew that not everyone have that strength or that joy in building. I personally I have very good passion in building things from scratch, right? But not everyone would want to be like me. So if you want to build a system that could just work with booking a room, because in some organizations, for you to use a conference room, each department or whatever it is need to book a room, and you know you're not even ready to start building from scratch, you can pick this one. You can pick this one and just start building your app. I don't know. Can I was thinking like, no, this is not what I want. Okay, so you can actually book a room, expenses, leave request, yeah, and services decks. All of these applications you can build. However, it's going to come with so many features that you might not need. we know all these things. For those of us that sometimes feel very lazy to build website from scratch and want to use third-party applications like WordPress, you building from scratch and you getting building from a template, two different things, because it's going to come with a lot of pages that you don't need. However, if you can work your way around, you can always build with templates like this. You see, it has almost everything, and most organizations don't even know that they can actually have things like this. They don't really know because people like you have not told them. So hopefully moving forward, you'll be able to tell them. So this is the studio. What I just showed you is a template. You can start an app using this button. You can create an app. And in the course of, I'm not going to start, I just want you to know everything about this platform because these are the basics. So you can create an app from a blank app or from Dataverse, which is a database managed by Microsoft itself. You can start with SharePoint, which is most of the app is SharePoint based. You can also start an app from an Excel. You can start from SQL. You can start from image. You can start from Figma. So this Figma part, I think this year, so that was when I observed it. So most of the stuff you do in Figma, you can import it. I've tried importing it, not 100% exactly as it will be, but most of the features you use in Figma that is supported in Power Platform will definitely be there. You can also learn, right? You can learn so many things. So they have so many tutorials. You can building Power Apps and that are accessible for all. With this, it takes you to YouTube and you learn whatever you want. If you're the kind that likes learning faster and not depending on people, it's good for you to explore this. Of course, they want so many people to be able to know this, have this knowledge. We have the apps. Now, whenever you build an app, it's saved under this part, this apps part. So you see all the applications in your organizations. You can also see the applications that you built. You can see applications that other people build as well. And you can also see the types of the app. Yeah, most of it's Canvas. So I think I'll be asking a general question where you guys will be the one to choose the exact application that you want us to build, because I don't want us to just do with what we have. We have some of the apps that we've already built, but we want you to, so that we start afresh and then we see everything, because most of the things will be built from scratch anyway. In 1 hour, we should be able to build a complete app. So the next thing is that we can also see our tables. All the tables you're using would be here. You can, if you create tables here, you can upload from an Excel. You can start with a blank table. You can create a virtual table. I personally use most of my tables I use in my application are from SharePoint list or SharePoint library itself. You can also add flows. Flows is like trying to make your Power App depend on Power Automate and to work with it. It's loading. Then you can see some solutions, right? You can see solutions here, and if you click on more, you can see other things. You can see chatbots, AI models, cards, choices, and all of those things. And this last button, you don't really need it, but because we're in a practical class, it's good for us to also know. This will also, or just list out the current available Power Platform applications, which is the Power Automate for automations, the Power BI for reporting, the Power Pages for the web-based portal that I told you. You can build like a site and then have you can have a website, and then you can have the opportunity to utilize most of this Power Platform on it. So it's like you building a website but having more functionalities. You can have the Power Virtual Agent, which is the bot. You can also build Power Virtual Agents from here and link it to your site. And then you see when you go to website and you see something pops up. Hello, would you like to chat with us, or do you have any question for us? You build everything here and then it moves there. Even if you use your banking app, you'll see that most of the questions we ask now, we don't really ask live agent. Nobody chats with us live. Only when it gets to escalation, they now move it to a live agent. But most of those things you ask, I want to know how to do my account and all of those things are Power Virtual Agents kind of program where they train data to be able to understand based on the kind of questions that would trigger whatever they want to respond to you. And then we have the Power Platform Admin Center, of course. If you're going to be working with Power Platform, there should be an. I'll move on. Okay, more thumbs up. Okay, that's beautiful. All right. So the first thing is to create an app. I'll just show you about. I'll show you inside of the app before I tell you things you need to put in mind before you start building an app. So I'm going to create a blank app. You can create your app from when you have access to this platform. You can try to explore, but it's good for us to maintain building it from a blank app. So for a blank app, you have the options to choose a blank canvas app, a blank app based on Dataverse, which will most likely be a modern driven app. And also you have the option to build Power Apps website. So it's more like building a portal or a web-based kind of application, but will be open or accessible to everyone. However, there are settings that we need to do that will allow almost anybody to be able to work with your Power Page website. So, but we're going to work with the Canvas app, which is my favorite. Now, the next thing you're going to do is to give your Power Apps a name. I have a space where before we start, you guys will be the one to tell me what you want us to build amongst the list we have, but I'll just say something like app name, MEQuest app name. I'll delete it afterwards. Now you also have the privilege to choose if it's a tablet or if it's a phone. So tablet app will most likely be like a landscape kind of app. But if you're going to be selecting phone, it will be more like a portrait kind of app. So you can choose if you want mobile phone or if you want tablet. I choose tablet most times because if you're going to be building an app, it's just like a logic. If you're going to be building an app for organizations, it means most of the users will be based in the organization, and most of these app they use their laptop, right? So it's good for you to choose tablet instead of choosing phone and everything is like this. However, you can choose tablet and you can still customize your screen to be able to respond to maybe mobile phones or tabs when it's in the portrait position. So I choose tablet. The reason I don't want us to rush, I can't just be rushing and just be going. I want you guys to understand this. So when we start building, we have an idea of what we're building, and we can also explain this to other people as well. So I'm going to click on create, and then it will load. So this is inside of the app. So whatever it is, whatever we've been building so far, like I should have showed you some of us. I'll show some of the sample of the apps we've built. But when you come into the development design studio, this is what you will see. Now, this button, I don't know how this thing. Okay, it's not, can't even increase. If you can see this button, the one that has the back will take you back to the landing for the Power Apps page, right? And then this would, I think this is for undo or whatever it is. And most of the things you use here, this is actually this will expand this particular panel, and then I'll tell you what this panel is. The tree view will be able to show you this stuff. You see the app, the host, the screen, having different screen. This will show you this. This will allow you to be able to insert. It's the same thing we have here. It will help you to be able to insert maybe things like labels. So these things are actually what we call input control. Things like text labels, edit form, text input, gallery, whether horizontal or vertical. This is gallery. I'll show you I would open one of our apps and then I'll show you what they are. But just know that for you to insert anything on this page, just imagine any kind of application you've ever seen or used in your organization. Everything in this place can be able to give you that. So this is like my popular tools. You would also see different input. You can see all kinds of inputs in here. Like you can see almost any, you can put slider, just know how to use, when to use it, and you'll be able to have different input controls. There are display controls. Text label, of course, is a display. HTML text, it means that if you know basic HTML, you can use that same skills and utilize it. That's one of my secret in building my own apps, because my apps, when you try to use it, you almost feel it was done like in the other way, because I still try to use the same HTML knowledge and then I edit some stuff. So you can also have Forms Pro Survey and all this stuff. Whenever you see anything that has this, of course, when you put your cursor on it, you'll see the toggle will tell you, the tool tips or whatever will tell you what it is, if it's depreciated, or if it's something that is just in preview, or if it's something that needs pro connector. Of course, you know that not everything is free. Nothing is free. Not everything is free. Some things are free in Microsoft, but there are some kind of connectors and some kind of features you would want to use. You would need an additional license, or you pay whatever it is to get some premium stuff. So these are different layouts. This is where we're going to cover there are different types of gallery. So there are, once you click on the gallery you want to insert, the gallery is actually what helps you to view data from your database. So you use the gallery and then you connect it. When we're building, we definitely work with this. So we have different kinds of gallery and you can customize how you want the gallery to be. So that's for the layouts. We also have media. You can insert images, you can insert barcode reader. You imagine that you have a power apps that can also understand barcodes. That's like what Android developers and Apple developers will struggle. They will even have to use, I know they're not struggling, they'll have to use integrations and libraries and all that to do that, to be able to get your app to be able to scan code and all that. But Microsoft has everything there for you. You can use your mic, you can use audio, you can build an app that can actually take snapshots whenever someone clicks a button, and it can automatically snap their face. Depending on how, whatever you're thinking in your head, you just utilize it, right? You can also have PDF viewers, and you can export, import. You can also have live map on your application. So everything is here. Just drag, paste, edit a little, and your app is ready. You can also insert icons. Of course, is what makes your app to be beautiful. Instead of writing text, you know when to use icons, and they have a lot of icons you can utilize. There are shapes you can also use. It means if you want to do some design, you just put some shapes and make it look very tough, but there's actually nothing. You can also insert charts on your Power Canvas app. You can also add AI builders. You can imagine having a application that you've built for your business, maybe in the reception, and wherever anyone comes to visit and they drop their card, the app just views the business card and scans the information and populates it in a database. So let me say, if you're going to be working with the procurement department, if you're working in a big company, the procurement department will always have visitors, people coming to tell them their paint is good, people come to tell them this solution they have is good for their business. Please, this is my business card in case you need. So you can build an app simple for the procurement, where whoever comes with files or whoever comes with business card, your app will just scan it and then populates database. Maybe tomorrow you're looking for painters or whatever it is, you just search on the database, you have that information of that person. But if you're storing those business card, take time. There is also receipt processor, there's form processor, there are text recognizers. So it means you can have apps that can recognize text. Maybe if it's for inspection or whatever it is, you just use your camera of your app, you snap, and then all the write-ups will just automatically fill in the database. Like I said, the reason we're having apps built today is because we want a system that can be able to get more data, so that we can use the data for other stuff in IT. And mixed reality is where we have like all of this. I think I've just tried the measurement, where you use your camera and your camera can be able to tell you dimensions, right? So if we have any engineers in the house, or any construction engineers or whatever it is, you can build something around this. I have no business with this anyway, but if you have any idea maybe to use some of these systems, you can try it. It's always there for you. You see, these ones are not premium, so you can use it, but these ones are premium. You see, this indicate a premium license is needed to use this component. So when you're building the app, or when you've promised your organization, or you've promised the client that you can build the app for them, that will make them use this easy, free, no more recurring payment, make sure you check with the features that are here that are free. So you don't go and promise them you do things for them for only for you to come back and see that they need premium license, right? So that's for things you can insert. This is where you had your data. So you can add data to your app. You choose whatever you want to use. If you want to use maybe things from SharePoint, these ones are data vast. You want to use maybe list, SharePoint list, you can be able to add this. There are also some of these things are third party, some of them need premium licensing for you to be able to use them, but this is where you had your data. For me, I prefer using SharePoint list because if your company pays for SharePoint, it means almost all the basic stuff in Power Apps is amongst their package. So you just use the list. You can also use SQL and connect to it. You can just use any kind of database you're familiar with. You can also upload images, video, and audio files using your app. So for some apps, you see some of the apps, it has some icons, it has some image and all that. This is where you upload them to. It's either you upload them now or when you go in, inserting an image, it will give you where you can actually upload these images, right? It means you can have your videos, you can also have audio files in your application. Once you put them here, your app can be able to reference them. You can also, in the course of you building Power Apps, you can also write a Power Automate that is specifically for this Power Platform. So the reason why they have it here, outside the other part that they have it, it's easy to access it. So if you want to add Power Platform that it may be a particular button, like if you're going to be building a document management system, you want a situation where whenever a new document is uploaded in your SharePoint database, you want a trigger to be sent to the owner of the document or the original owner of the file, whatever you've done. So you want to actually automate to do that. Power Apps will not do anything. Your Power Apps cannot even do much automation. They can't even do any automation. So Power Automate will help do that. You can also have variables. Some of the applications we're building are simple and most of it are a bit complex. We won't tell you those things because we just feel that it's okay for you to learn the basics and then later you can start looking for more complex stuff to develop, right? But if you're going to be developing complex apps, you have to know how to use variables. You know how to set variables. Most apps that look very beautiful have hidden variables. I myself write a lot of variables and I hide them almost everywhere, right? I just hide them, some in the front. I even can put variables under a button. I can put it anywhere, right? And also advanced tools, you can monitor your apps. You want to see who is working, who is currently using your app. You imagine if you work with a company that is in different part of the world, right? You can actually make this app to be open to everyone and you can monitor who is accessing this app, which department is accessing it, which user is accessing it, and also see the location. You can see different things. It's just like the way you monitor the usage of your app when you upload an app, when you launch an app with an Apple Store or Play Store, right? You can also see, you can also test your app, and you can also search for stuff in your app. So it means every variable, every icon, every text box, every whatever it is, you can actually search and see. It will reference where you've used it. So that's all about this particular place. The same thing you see is the same like when you try to expand the menu and when you press it will take the menu stuff back, but all you do or everything that is here is the same thing with the same thing. So that's that about the left panel, right? Now for up, we have the same insert this and that and all that. We have for you to have that at the same thing. You can actually create screen. Is that part of, okay, there is no screen in my list, but I'll show you the screen. So this is the first screen. This is the first screen. I'll take this down. This screen is called screen 1. I could name it like maybe welcome screen. Welcome screen. And of course I had to put this gallery the other time because I was explaining something. So let me say the welcome screen is what is where you want people to be able to, what you want people to see first. I personally advise that your application should have welcome screen. Before now, most of the applications that I see, once you click on leave request, once you click the apps open, the leave request form or whatever it is, just to sometimes you can just break everyone, have a welcome screen, and have different buttons that will lead someone to request for a new leave, or lead someone to review their existing leave, or maybe view something that will has maybe for them to maybe monitor how many days is remaining in their leave or whatever it is. Yeah, that will make your users to be directed properly other than just building everything. Yes, but you just start displaying information just because you have access to doing the gallery easy, right? So it's always good to have your default screen to be welcome screen, and this screen will help us have a lot of the on maybe if you're going to be doing maybe there are some variables that initiates when a screen starts, right? There are some that will initiate when the app starts. When it just starts, it will start up. So having a welcome screen can help you have some kind of default variables that will control if someone has a good permission or not, because some persons should not be able to see some kind of everybody's leave, why some users should be able to see everybody's leave requests, right? So having a home screen will break that free access. I need to look at my time. Okay. Yeah. So in the next few minutes, we'll round off. So if you have your screen, you can duplicate screen. Like if you've gotten really what you want maybe something that views leave requests for yourself and for everyone. But the one for everyone, you want it to be accessible by just one person. So if you've gotten the individual screen, okay, all you need to do is to duplicate that same screen, but you just change the variable or change it. Those are the little tricks that you can do when you start building the apps. So the next one is if you want to start new screen. This thing wasn't like this before. So it's something new that at least is a very good thing. It means they are working on responsiveness. So if you have a screen, maybe you have a screen, this also would require you to do some brain work. Actually, what do you want to do? If you want to build something that will be accessible both on phone and on laptop, if you use something like this, it will be nice because on phone, it will be the first container will be up, the second container will be down, while if you're on laptop in the landscape, it will be the first container here, the second container here. So that's the same thing that happens with this and this. If you know a bit about UI UX or web or whatever it is, you know that this is actually an example of breakpoint. That's how we have responsive website today. When you're on the laptop, it's like, but when you're on phone, it breaks it and then it rearrange the container. So that's exactly what is happening here. Microsoft was not expecting you guys to know about this, and then they just did it for us to understand and then tell people the importance of having these screens. If you're going to be working with a screen where you know that you would have an header, whatever it is. Maybe you want to put some unique buttons above, and you know on all the pages of your app it will be consistent. You can go in for this. So this will just make sure that everything you've put on the header, when it's on the phone, it will not change itself. If you know you don't want to worry yourself about understanding this, you can just go in for a blank screen. So I look at what I'm building. We're going to learn, well, I'm going to show you briefly. That's the last part of the class. Before you build anything, try to understand the screens that you would need and the kind of screen that will be nice for people to enjoy your app, right? You can also start with different templates. So these are some kind of templates you can use to start your app, right? You can, if you're doing calendar, if you click on this calendar, you'll be overwhelmed. So please don't click on it because I don't even want you to say what I'll say, because if you're starting, it will get you confused. But if you've developed for some time, you won't find it confusing. You just see something like a calendar kind of app, but there are a lot of variables in it that you need to understand and control for you to use it to work, right? So that's about having screens. Form controls, templates I've touched. So on form controls, let me say I'm working here and I want to insert a form. Of course, every application you use today, If you don't know, it's a good time for you to make every application you use today that asks you to put username, password, name, date, all of those things, whatever it is on your laptop or website or application, those things are actually forms, right? Whatever it is, they are all binded in something called a form. So if you're going to be building a Power Apps, that should also be, you should also understand how important form is. Now, if you click on, let me say you insert form, let me say I insert edit form. I don't feel like, I don't want to. We're not learning, I don't want to go too deep, but I'll show you an existing app. Just if you choose on form, there are different, you can choose the form property to have, sorry, let me just quickly go. What will I open now for you? I'll take this one. I'll open this one. It's support ticket stuff, so I should be able to see it to be easy. All right, so while we're waiting for that one to load, if you insert on form, you'll be able to see, put your form in different view. So that's the trick, where if you want someone to edit a form property, you had a button. When they click, it changes the current status of the form to edit, right? So that's where you put the form, you pick your form. Your form is very important, but you have to connect your form to a data source. So I don't know what we're building yet, so I don't even know the data to connect this to. But whenever you choose any data, it will be connected here, and then we can now work on what to do next with the forms. Input controls, I've already shown you. Intelligent controls are those premium controls that are there. Now for functions is the last one, and functions is just for you to decide and tell, like you want to write like a conditional statement, or you want to be able to, let me say I insert let me see text input, and another one, and another one. So if I say this input should be able to calculate this plus this and give me this, I just need to write a simple function that will be able to tell me, okay, I'll put this as number, and I'll put this as number. And let me say this is text input 1. All I need to do is to say this should be text input 1. So text input 1 plus the text input 2. I don't know if this one, okay, I'll rename this one to be 2. This one, rename, and I'll put 2. So I want this to be, also when you're writing and you see this red stuff, it means that there's an error in whatever you're writing. So it's not complete yet, right? So if you click, you can edit. So I want text input 1 plus text input 2 to give me this value. So all I need to do is that when I put maybe 45 and I put this, why is it giving me 90? Hold on. Plus this, let me see dot value. Oh, 2, not 1. So the 2, I'm supposed to put 2, I put 1, so it's giving me 90, because 45 plus 45 is actually 90. So if I play it again and I put maybe 120, you see, and it's correct, it's responding. This is like you doing a conversion. You can build a conversion app immediately with this. So the fact that I wrote that text input 1 plus text input 2 should give me this value. It's really small. Hope you can see. I don't know if you can see. So this is actually what functions are. So you have to write different little functions. These things are not hard though. So just, you see, just tell us what is here. I can say that whenever someone, let me put this one, I'll delete this one. I can say whatever, when someone logs in, it should be able to tell me the person's name, and I could just say, maybe I'll need to make this to be able to look at the user, the logged in user. So once I do this, it's there. It's already telling me my name. What if I didn't? Okay. All right. So these are the functions. All these things are functions. So for you to make your app to be very useful for your organizations, it means that you should be able to understand what functions is and how to write functions. Any questions so far before I move forward? Oh, I think I wanted to show you guys just a brief of this. So if we have this as a support system, right? So all of these things, there are different functions attached to these things. What I wanted to do was to show you the form. So if I click on new ticket, what you're seeing now is a form, right? So these are input controls. This can take information, this can take your date, and this can take some categories you specify. You can select the priority. You can also add images to this and the source and whatever it is. So this is actually a form. This was just the only reason I had to load this. You can also see different things, and then I'll show you what gallery looks like. So this is actually a gallery. It's a list of things. It's actually different gallery. Like it's just one gallery, but everything you see here is just done with variable. If I open a variable for you, you won't even be happy with this app anymore. So they are all hidden, right? So, but I know that whenever a task is completed, it should be green. And whenever it's not completed, it should be maybe in progress or whatever it is. So that's actually how to use gallery and some of these things. So we're going to go back. We'll continue to our slide. So I've been able to show you around the Power App Studio. I've been able to tell you about app formats. It's either you're using Canvas or whatever it is. I've shown you galleries. At least you always remember that I said something about templates. I've said something about forms, input controls, intelligent controls, and functions. And before you build a Canvas app, goals before creating an app. Sorry for that. Set your goals before creating an app and define your business objective and all of those things. And the next thing is that you sketch the features and functions of the new app. Of course, you need to write down something, right? If you're going to be building an app that would be able to monitor everyone coming into the organization from the gate, maybe your security officer or the security officer in the company you're working with does this manual input, but this time around you want the organization to buy an iPad that you can use to take information and let people do what you need to build. What kind of screens do you want people to be seeing? Is it possible that whenever someone clocks in on as a visitor, there's an alert sent to someone somewhere? So you need to ask yourself these questions. The beauty is that no matter what you imagine in Power Apps, you can do it in 1 week or less or a bit more. Where it takes traditional app builders to app developers to build an app for 6 months, it can take you like 1 week or 2. You need to conduct research. If someone is going to be telling you to build a leave request application for your organization or they do whatever it is, you don't just jump in building, right? You do a bit of research, try to see other applications, the kind of features they have, and what the kind of screens they have, and the kind of features you know they don't have that you want to add. When you do all of those things, then you can start creating the app. So you're under research existing app, see what's already out there that helps accomplish similar goals or solve similar problems. Then think about how you might improve or build on those apps to address your business process. And the next step is you can now create your app. Begin to bring forms to your vision with these 5 steps. You can plan, design, make tests, and publish, right? You publish does not mean that you're publishing for everyone to see. You can just publish for only one person to see or publish for yourself. Like me, when I build, I actually publish, check it on tabs, check it on iPad, and then check it on phone. I need to be sure of what if it's the way I want. So you have to do these things. And then when you're starting with different page, then you can test the entire app. You can test and publish the entire app. When you test up the entire app, you have users try the app, get feedback from them, and make changes as necessary. Once you are satisfied with the app, then you publish it, right? Then you can now publish it for everyone, right? So you need to sketch these features and then research existing app, create the app, test and publish. So that's all. Is there any question?